With the testimony of Oscar Pistorius taking centre stage now, the question on everyone's lips is whether what he says happened on the morning of February the 14th is indeed what really happened. Advocate Gerry Nel introduced certain discrepancies between Pistorius's written statements and the verbal testimony he gave in court yesterday. So how do we get to the truth? Often it's not in listening to what people say, but how they say it. Now joining us via Skype from New York is US forensic psychophysiologist Nathan Gordon to give us his insights. Nathan, thank you for joining us. I'm going to jump right in. You're an internationally recognized expert in the field of interrogation and truth verification. How did forensic psychophysiology come about?
It was started back in the 1920s in the United States by the Berkeley, California Police Department, and it is the gold standard for truth verification that we know of today.
So you've analyzed Pistorius's written statement shortly after the shooting. What was your conclusion about the statement?
For me to say a statement is problematic, we have to have at least 3 areas indicating deception, and I would say that there's more than 3 areas in Oscar's statement. And it would be my professional opinion that it's highly problematic and most likely a deceptive statement.
Which parts of the statement were, in your mind, indicative of deception then?
To start with, the very beginning of the statement, a truthful person generally will introduce everyone in their statement. They want you to understand what they're saying. Oscar starts his statement by talking about Riva, but he never introduces who Riva is. That generally indicates a problem with the relationship.
So now you've mentioned problems in the relationship, but in his statement he makes it very clear that the relationship was good, saying, and I quote this, "We were deeply in love and I could not be happier. I know she felt the same way."
That is what we would refer to as out-of-sequence information. That's not part of the story. It's something he's adding in. And generally when we see out-of-sequence information, it means something is actually being removed from the real facts. Also, it's indicating a need on his part to oversell his position. It's him trying to convince us that the relationship is good, when in fact, he should just be telling us what happened. He doesn't have to convince us, right? Unless he projects that we already know the relationship was not good.
Well, I think some would think that he may just be defending his position if he assumes that people think that there were problems. Were there any other areas of concern for you that jumped out?
When a person is going to be deceptive, they often will have a great deal of mental conflict about what's happening. And as a result of that, we generally see what we call doubles, where people repeat phrases more than once. Same phrase, but they say it over again. Oscar's statement has doubles in it, indicating mental conflict.
Okay, we all know that Judge Thokozile Masipe is the only person who can ultimately decide what she believes to be truthful or not when it comes down to making a verdict. What are the key elements that she would need to look out for in Pistorius's verbal testimony as opposed to the written?
As a general rule, non-verbally, if what the people are doing with their hands helps you understand what is being said, we call that an illustrative behavior. As illustrators increase, chances of truthfulness increase. Touching the body, rubbing the body, touching the face, generally are what we call adaptive behaviors. And as they increase, chances of deception increase. His use to pronouns will be very important. Is he willing to say, I did this, I did that, or did it just happen?
Extremely useful to be able to determine what people are really saying when they communicate, and those techniques can be applied in so many ways at work, in your relationships, to name a few. Really interesting stuff. Now, I think as the Oscar Pistorius trial continues in Pretoria, it's important not just to hear what people say, but the way that they say it, as well as facial expressions and mannerisms, to uncover the real truth behind what happened on that fateful Valentine's morning. It is going to be riveting for the rest of this week, to say the least.